What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Hit or Quit feed, where we are here again to cover episode 4 of Amazon Freebies, The GOAT. I am Jenny Autumn, joined as usual, as I am every week, with Goaty McGoatface himself. He's frozen on my screen. I don't know. Oh, you're good. My goat, Chappelle. So Chappelle. I was like, I might have lost him. I hope I didn't.
Imagine we come here to podcast at a specific time. You and I chop it up. There's no issues. We talk for 10, 15 minutes, catch up. Oh, we have other podcast plans. We're talking about MILF Manor. We're trying to make sure our mental health are good. And then the moment I hit record, the internet, boom, bow, it's gone.
I don't know what I would do. I think I would probably just stop the recording and say I'll figure this out because I can't do this without you. You imagine me just monologuing about this episode for however long. This would be the shortest podcast ever. Actually, this bitch does not stop talking. Imagine if there was not another person here to like rein me in and for me to be like, oh yeah, stop speaking. That actually would still be the worst podcast ever. But thank God we are back together. It's been a minute. Episode 4 of The GOAT. And it's a little sleepier one. I mean, it had its moments, but I just feel like after the fireworks of episode 3 especially, it's like the war that's impending, it's kind of taking it's taking a moment, right? Like the flames have been kind of fanned a little bit. Wait, is that the right analogy? Anyway,
I think so.
Okay. Bit. The point is like we're kind of we're putting things on ice. I feel like they will ramp back up, but I feel like this episode in this boot felt a little bit telegraphed to me. I kind of knew where we were going the whole episode. It felt like what was going to happen. But I'm still having a good time with it. How did you feel about this one?
Yeah, even in the previously on The GOAT, they show what happened with Wendell betraying Devon, but they kind of gloss over everything that happened with Alyssa Edwards and Kristen. And they just kind of like, oh yeah, Kristen, CJ, da 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 da, and they just move on. And I'm thinking that was the biggest deal to me from last episode, was that Alyssa Edwards out of nowhere just starts taking shots at Kristen, like, oh, you're a drunk, and I thought that was such a big deal. Why aren't we talking about it? So I was like, oh, it must not matter in this episode.
It does not. Yeah.
We never really revisit. I mean, we get the early makeup between the two of them. Kristen goes, I think he's like, hey, we need to make up. I'm sorry. I didn't mean. She's like, you were projecting some Vanderpump stuff onto me right now for this. But she takes some fault. He takes some fault. And they get on the same page very quickly. I'm thinking, well, damn, there goes the drama. This would never happen like this on House of Villains. On House of Villains, they hold grudges until they die.
Yes. And I guess because they know what they've been cast to do. And I think that, a lot of what Kristen goes through over the course of this episode is like her trying to resist her old ways of behavior and like getting caught up. It's almost like she's having this internal battle of like good TV drama and then like what the like, inner like fire in me wants to do, combined with like, I don't know, maybe listening to like her therapist.
Exactly. Yeah. You can tell, you can tell the therapist is like, Kristen, count to 10. Kristen, don't do that. Kristen, you don't have to say that. Kristen, you are not your character on Vanderpump Rules. You are more than that. And I agree. Like she's fighting that internal struggle. And by the end, she's just kind of like, okay, just let me release it a little bit, just
one last
little bit, because given if Kristen had her way, she'd have thrown a drink at somebody, but she's growing. She's grown. Yes. She's working on being a better Kristen. And we saw what happened here. It was, and
she might not have had a drink to throw at the moment too. It's like, you need to have the drink to throw it.
You need a tool. Right. Exactly. But yeah, tropical storm Kristen, not a full blown hurricane, but you did get some glimpses, because I don't really know her from Vanderpump. But so I was like, okay, she can't be that bad, right? And then when I saw it, I was like, I still thought that was kind of tame. So I'm proud of her for reeling it back in when it felt like
we've seen grown Kristen. So this is the problem. Whereas I think that, I mean, we definitely on House of Villains saw some people, not necessarily live up to the volume of villain that we might have expected. But for the most part, you knew the people on that show understood the assignment of like, hey, I'm a villain because I am willing to do whatever it takes, and also I know how to make good TV. You need some villains to make a good program, so I got to show up and show out here. And I'm a little I'm not going to be too down on it. I promise I'm not going to be too down on this. Even though my feelings were so high after the last 2 episodes, that this one did feel like a little bit of a drop for me. I'm just a little worried that we are going to lose too many messy people too quickly, and that we're going to be left with,
The
very
men,
lovely people. The
the
men.
men, the men. Yeah, let's just talk about it. By the end of this episode, it's very clear that there's this large men's alliance. Kristen calls it out. Devon talks about it a little bit. Jill's like, "What the hell is going on?" CJ is flipped. She's not a girl's girl. Jenny, I know you're tired of hearing the words "girl's girl." I know you're sick of it.
Yeah, it is triggering at this point. I can't believe we've ventured into gender wars on the GOAT at episode 4, but that really does, and it's like really the subject of like not Kirsten, but I feel like this would be Kirsten as well, being like, "Get out the men! What are you doing?" So,
what are you doing?
There are parallels. But Kristen's like exit speech is basically just saying like women's empowerment, but also you're not a girl's girl. This is where we're going. And even though Kristen was holding back some of her mess, we saw the potential, the fireworks. Like we saw that Reza's getting really annoyed with her. And I think that we lost so much potential in other fights that could have happened through the rest of the series. So I'm a little nervous about that. But yeah, because we've got a lot of these guys that are left. We now lost 3 women and 1 man, right? A lot of these guys that are left are, I just feel like they're chilling, They're not really causing any waves. Like at this point, what we have to hang our hats on is what gets built up in this episode. The impending Devon versus Wendell. That is like the next important storyline here. And I really just hope that we don't get it resolved so quickly that we're like, okay, now we get to see Jason cooking for everyone and Joe just having a tequila soda and having a great day. Like, that's great. That's fine. But we know we came for some mess.
We came for some mess. Unfortunately, we have Wendell. And so Wendell, I love Wendell, but Wendell is not messy. He's very much like when he plays these games, he likes to be just a straight shooter. Now, he might be messy outside of the game, but in the game, Wendell normally is like, it's my side versus your side. I got the numbers. I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do to help you. You're on the way out. I might save you for later, but I'm picking off your alliance and there's nothing you can do about it. So when we see him and Devon talk, Devon's like, "Hey, remember that time you betrayed me last week? What was that about?" And Wendell says, "Well, I didn't think you take it personally because I was just doing what was best for my people." And she goes, "Yeah, Wendell, I thought I was your people." And he's just like, "Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that, yeah, you are my people. I just needed to betray you. That's what's best for us, which really is best for me, which is best for the men because those are my people. You are a person that I'm keeping close to me because I don't want you to target me specifically. But my alliance is the men." Yeah, exactly. Is that other room, the bro alliance, or what they call it, the bro cave? Yeah,
the bro cave, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, they're all together. And so, yeah, Wendell, he's not going to allow for that kind of stuff to happen. He's just going to be like, "Okay, yeah, I hear you," quietly. And then he's going to go over and he's going to keep betraying her. I don't know if it's complete gender wars right now, but I definitely don't see, if there's a chance for them to vote out a woman over a guy right now, who's the guy that they would sacrifice? Like maybe Tech. We don't get a lot from him. Maybe but grocery store Joe.
Here's the thing, and I wanted to mention this. Of Tech was vulnerable in tonight's episode. And his name did not get mentioned at all. There were numerous conversations where it was like, well, you know, Reza's going to be fine. And Justin was the one, you know, giving the directions, like no one's going there. And so there was no option to get out someone that was not in the like bro cave alliance or whatever. Or Wendell and the gays is like, although I don't know who that includes because I think Joe is also in this alliance.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, it's like the Wendell Reza Justin alliance is Wendell
And then
and the
Jason, I
gays or
think as
something like
well,
that, and then
also,
Jason,
yeah.
yeah, and then you
And then,
got Joe, but that's when it became just the guys alliance, right? It's like
yeah.
so Wendell
And
has
then
his core
tech
group,
too. So it's like,
right?
but that was why this was so confusing to me because they almost had me second guessing what team tech had been on because I had written it down. I was like, okay, these are the people vulnerable. And then tech's name did not come up at all as a possibility, which I thought was very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because he also hasn't had like a ton of content. Like he gets like he's fun in confessionals. He's got like some fun little like moments, but I don't often see him talking in like any of these big groups about strategy. So it kind of just
No,
that does lead me to think that maybe he's expendable, but also it makes me think that there might be some guys that want to keep him around because they don't feel like he's a threat to their game. And so
yeah,
he's like a good number without like any possible blowback on them.
yeah.
I just thought it
I
was
mean,
so strange. His name didn't come up at all.
yeah, it was like, okay, then it's pretty much going to be either Reza or you, Kristen. And Kristen was like, what? He's like, yeah, so you got to go get the numbers against Reza. Good luck. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay. But yeah, I think Tech is comfortable in his alliance. I really think that's the case. I think that the women might think that, okay, if we have to go against a guy, why would we go after Tech? What is he going to do? You know, so they're a
Yeah.
bigger fish to fry, like a Reza, like Wendell, like maybe even grocery store guy. You know, maybe it's all those people that they would rather target. So Tech's kind of sitting in the middle, looking pretty. I mean, that's the thing. He's a part of the majority alliance. So why would he strategize about what? You know, I'm just here. I'll get as close as I can to Wendell, who seems to be in charge, and ride this baby out. And it just, for me, I'm looking for the flip. There has to be a time where they're not able to just vote out another woman. And based on the way the game is set up, it does look like that's a possibility because they're always split into teams. So
Yes.
your
And the
team could be
goat picks the
vulnerable.
teams. So depending on
Right.
who the goat is, like they can really like stack it in their
Yeah.
favor.
Exactly. And so Devon at the end of the episode, we hear her saying, you know, let me get back in power. I'm flipping the house upside down. Because at that point, what you do is you get immunity, you stack your team full of guys, and then you just throw it. I'm talking about you, Caleb from Big Brother, sit down and just watch them do their thing, you know, and hope for the best, hope they lose or something like that to get a guy out. It's a
Yeah.
nasty maneuver, but we talked about it. That might be the best strategy of the game anyway, because then you can control who's going home, especially with the house split in half like this.
Yeah. The problem is that everyone can vote.
Yeah.
If these were like split tribal councils where you have like, and maybe they'll do it that way that next week because we do know that next week we're going to get a double elimination.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the fact that everyone, only a few people are vulnerable each week and the whole group gets a vote, it's kind of, as soon as you get numbers, you really start stifling um any possibilities for the minority alliance to gain and like any footing. Because if next week they split into two teams, although it does seem like they're going to announce the double elimination before there's even a challenge, but I was going to say what a fun twist if they reveal like there is no safe team. There's
Yeah.
one,
Both teams
maybe
have to
there's
eliminate
one
somebody.
goat, and then but
Right.
then they vote separately as if it's like literally like the split tribal council, because that's really the only way you can get like I think the only, unless I'm just trying to think, unless you literally have a team of all men.
Mm-hmm.
So say you know the goat, because you get to the point where like even having a team of all men, they might just win. Like, how are you also
Yeah.
going to have them lose and
Well, there's
not
so
be on
many
their
men,
team?
but there's
Yeah.
so many men that if there's a team of all men, there's going to be another team that has at least one man on it. So you
Yeah.
could target them, but you don't have the numbers. So, like you said, unless they're split and they're voting split, I don't see any world where the women
Yeah.
can just take control of this unless there's some type of immunity for multiple women, and the guys
Mhm.
are forced to go against each other. Now, maybe in the next day or so, somebody gets the wild hair and decides, oh, maybe I should make my move now. But right now,
Yeah.
from what we're seeing, doesn't look like that's going to change anytime soon.
The other thing is like the CJ of it all, where she's basically become considered one of the numbers for the men. That part's interesting, where it's like if there's a team of a bunch of the guys and CJ, then perhaps, but again, like the men will probably get rid of CJ if they have no other options, and then maybe the other women can see that as like a sort of win for them. But really, what needs to happen is like Day needs to win GOAT, not have her immunity bought,
Right.
say no, and make sure that her team is all men besides her, and throw it and
Yeah.
somehow try to actually lose, but that's still so hard to do.
Hmm.
Like, even with multiple people on her last team that she chose in on the plan to throw it,
They
she
still
still almost accidentally won.
and they still betrayed her, and she still
Yeah.
get her way. And so, yeah, this
So,
could go wrong. And then if she does such a power move like that, because she's already done one, right? And
yeah.
that threw the whole house into disarray. But she just completely throws the challenge to get a guy out, and it's all the guys are up for elimination, and they vote out a guy. Devon has to then win again next week.
Yeah. I
And
think
then
she already
again.
feels this way though, because she kind of pissed off the women too, and I feel like things kind of got like kind of, smoothed over this week, but she did feel like after the Lauren elimination that she was kind of screwed in every which way.
Mhm.
So Day might just need to be doing that anyway. Like, she did get pretty lucky here in that Wendell is still trying to use her as a number, and she ended up being on a winning team here. So I don't know. I hope that the twists coming will make it possible for it not to just be like Wendell and the gays steamroll. Not that I don't love them. I think they're great. I just think like
Rank them right now.
we're
I'm joking.
we're on episode 4, and if I can like see like, okay, it's probably just going to be, this person next, then that person, then that person, like you can see the pecking order. That's not super fun to watch,
Yeah.
but let's go back and let's talk briefly about CJ, because the episode starts off with CJ, moving out of the women's room that we saw at the end of the last episode, and Paula and CJ have a conversation, and Paula is like she's just like a tell it how it is, straightforward bitch. I love it.
Mhm.
My baby ass spirit, I think that I know that I would not have the the ability to just go up to her and be like, oh, I don't know, maybe, because she doesn't like ream her out. She basically says like, I'm hurt, I feel betrayed by you. And CJ retorts basically back with, well, I think you shouldn't blame me for the dissolution of the Women's Alliance. I feel like it was dead the moment Day decided to throw that challenge and essentially told us that she was okay with any of us being at risk of going if things went wrong.
It was a good political pitch from CJ. Now, it's not
Yeah.
completely true. Devon threw
Mhm.
the challenge with a specific target in mind, and she was
Yeah.
not okay with any of them. Now, again, had CJ not flipped, there would be no issue here.
Yeah.
There would be no issue here. But it was a
They
good
had the
job because,
numbers.
yeah, Paula doesn't push back against it. She's not like, but CJ also, she's just kind of like, oh, okay, I see what you were saying. Because CJ says she doesn't want Day to just be in charge of the house. And
Mhm.
now she can't even sleep in her room because she's pissed off all the women. So she has to go sleep somewhere as a refugee. But I don't know. It was
Which I
like,
thought she
you
was
either,
gonna say outcast instead of refugee. I was
I
like,
don't know why
she
she
was
said
trying to like
refugee.
find the word. I was like,
Yeah.
that was not the word I was expecting her to grab. I thought maybe just like
No.
outcast was, but
No,
Whatever,
but
CJ.
it's like she said, like, I didn't want Devon in charge.
Yeah.
But instead, I want Wendell in charge. It's like you have to pick a side at some point,
Yeah.
and there is a leader of both of those alliances. And I don't think Wendell is the de facto leader, but I think the last move was very much a Wendell move, and he's going to get credit for it moving forward. I think maybe Reza could even be looked at as the leader of the men's alliance over there. But CJ, you picked a side. Stand by it. I picked this side, and she did. She really did stand on it. She was like, "Well, I just didn't want Devon to be in charge."
I respect that she, stood by her decision and explained it. And, I understand what she's saying in that, Day was just going to like run us. But you're right. She essentially just chose to be in a bigger alliance, which potentially that isn't run by her, that puts her at a potentially even lower position than she would have been. And I also think you have to like recognize like Devon was already having issues with other people. Like, you kind of just, when you have a leader like that, you kind of just have to wait your turn. You know what I mean? Like, wait for the other side to take the shot because they're going to want to take out someone like Devon, especially if they perceive her as having power, because she will get into conflict. She's basically said that she is totally okay with that. She's okay with making like villainous moves, whereas a leader like Wendell is scarier because as we've said, he, and this is why he was so successful on Survivor, he is like a social player to the like highest degree, in that even the people that he's not working with or he's planning on betraying, he, like you said, he says it with a smile. He's making sure that even if he's not working with those people, they like him and feel good about him, and they maybe won't go after him first. And that is a way more dangerous person to have controlling your alliance if your like ultimate goal is to win. Because people will not go after that person probably unless, I don't know, they recognize what he's doing. I mean, people are saying they know Wendell's game. But I just think that, I don't know if CJ made the right decision. I do think that also part of it was driven by emotions, and that she likes Justin. She really connected. She's like, I know Alyssa Edwards. I know your story. I respect you. And they had that lovely heart to heart. And I think that was also part of it. And maybe if it was somebody else at risk, that she wouldn't have made the move that against the women's alliance that she made.
Right. And the Devon power move of throwing the challenge, I know we just said that she probably needs to do that if she's ever in charge again. But
does now, yeah.
Yeah, but even in the moment, it was such a power move that it put such a spotlight on Devon that even if you were working with her, you don't necessarily like the tactic. We've seen this on other shows too, where it's blatantly obvious you should throw a challenge. Blatantly. We've seen that on Survivor a billion times where like everybody's like, you should probably just throw this. We've seen on Big Brother, you don't need to win this HOA. And when you do something like that and it's like blatantly obvious that you threw it or that it was like an undercutting move or something just like a little too shady, people don't like it all the time. They can't they see the strategic value, but they also think it's a little extra. And so I think from there she saw it, and between that and her personal connection with Justin, she's like, nah, I'd rather not play with Devon if she's gonna be moving like this. Strategically, is it the best idea? Probably not. But it's the choice that she made. So
and she stands on it, like you said.
Yeah, and she's gonna outlast the women that she flipped on. See, that's the thing about they always talk about a women's alliance always has a weak link, and the person always flips. That person normally is the last woman standing because they flip first. It's like working with the vets on like returning season. It's like, I don't want to work with the vets. Nobody wants to work with the vets. We all want to target the vets. But the first person who flips will probably be the one spared the most times. And so, I didn't love it strategically. She gave the power away, but she can live to fight another day without any stress for a while. Whereas now Devon, Jill, and Paula, their backs are up against the wall.
But CJ should not be wanting to just let the rest of the women get picked off one by one and be the last one standing, because that's not good for her either. Like, here's the question: so she, Wendell got through to her, and I do, like I said, I do think that there are a lot of other reasons besides just wanting to work with the men. Was she dickmatized by Wendell? He's got that charm, okay? Listen, I know he's booed up at this point during the filming, but I'm just saying she comes from a dating show, you know? Maybe she can't help but be like, "Hey, what's up?"
She comes from F-Boy Island. I don't know why that would attract her to Wendell. So anyway, to the challenge.
Yeah, so
He's gonna whoop my ass. You understand this?
I'm just like setting you up for like
for Wendell to literally beat the crap out of me. And at this point, I'm sorry. The joke wrote itself. My bad.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so the other thing we briefly touched on this is we see Kristen and Justin talking. They make up, and you're right. This is basically telegraphing that like, okay, this drama is not going to be a recurring storyline. Like we are summing it up here and being like, hey, you know, everyone resolved it, and you know, Justin apologizes and, you know, explains that he felt attacked by her, but he's disappointed in how he handled it. They make up, and then I'm like, oh, well, there goes that.
Right.
Happy for your growth, happy for you as people, but what the hell?
This man, where is Alyssa Edwards? I don't like Justin. Alyssa Edwards needs to show up. God damn it, where's the Snatch Game challenge? I need something, you know. This is not.
We see Alyssa next week, so maybe like that's a good sign.
Yeah, maybe, because this ain't it.
Yeah. So so then we're gonna get to our challenge. I did want to point out one thing. Did you notice that Tosh walks in and does hooty hoo? Is he a Night Owls Dondi fan?
Yes, he knew it.
The synergy.
He was on the right side of history. Y'all told us we were crazy, but the Night Owls live on.
Somewhere Tosh is like commenting on all the Dondi press and being like, Stephanie was robbed. Amy was robbed. Nick
Jordan was a night owl. Stop it. Jordan was a night owl. Don't be disrespectful. Well, she was one of us. One of us.
And one of us, yes. I mean, anyway, if you haven't watched Dondi and you're listening to this, like,
oops,
it's not too late. Go binge it. It was a great time.
Yeah, go binge it. Look, only
I died. I was like, why are so much the hooting? Like, this is
yes. Take us back. More Hit or Quit content.
Night
please.
Owls. Yeah.
Hooty hoo.
So anyway, every episode, every week seems to have a theme. And this episode is going to be saluting the medical procedure reality shows, which are.
Do you watch these?
Hell no. Chappelle, I said I was not going to be negative or too negative.
Do it.
I'm going to tell you the next 20 minutes of this episode was a nightmare for me. I hated this. I hated this so much. You will never, ever see me watching any sort of show that deals with gross.
Puss.
I am very squeamish. Like, okay, here's the thing. I have no problem talking about like poop.
Puss.
You know, I was so happy for Liz when she pooped on Survivor. That made my week. I was so happy. The idea that these freaks who watch YouTube videos of people popping pimples and popping popping that pussy pimple.
Pussy popping on a handstand.
Yeah, pussy popping all over the fucking place. I'm sorry. That is vile to me. I have lines that I need to draw for my own mental health and well-being that I can't. And on top of that, and I will explain how this challenge works for those who did not catch this. Beyond being grossed out easily, I don't like seeing blood. I don't like seeing any, like, I can't even watch scripted dramas that have any sort of like blood, guts, any sort, just no, absolutely not. I don't even want to see my own blood. It's not a good time. However, even worse for me, and you might know this, but you might not know.
You hate balloons.
Motherfucking balloons. I
Yeah, you hate
hate
balloons.
them.
I
You
saw
knew
it
this.
coming. Yeah, I knew this. Yeah, Jenny hates balloons. Write it down. You
And
can
the
put it on a
fact
tote.
that it's like, I don't hate balloons in that, like, if I'm in a room and there are balloons, I'm not, like, afraid and upset. Like, it's not like an irrational fear or a
Mhm.
phobia. The sound and the sensation of touching them, however,
Yeah, not for
absolutely
you.
not.
Yeah.
And this challenge was just everything I hated.
Calling this a
I
challenge is polite, Jenny. What was challenging about this? Quickly.
It was the Mario Party game, and this is front of mind for me because I was just playing Mario Party. The one and there's different versions of this. The Mario Party game where you just pick one of the levers to push down, and it
Yeah.
either
You
like
either win or you
it
don't. It's like there's no strategy.
like Paula calls it out. She's like, "Okay, this is luck."
Yeah.
So yeah, this challenge is essentially like it was basically just like big face. And then on the face were these balloons
Big
that
pussy
were supposed
pimples.
to be pimples. They were
Mhm.
red, I believe, although they should have
Silver.
been white, like Jill said. You want
Jill
those
loves a whitehead,
juicy she loves a juicy whitehead, and I was like, "This."
and she's never had a pimple in her life. So what do you mean by that, Jill?
She likes watching them. She's a voyeur.
Okay. She loves
She's
watching
never
the juicy
had
whitehead.
them. She's
She
never
never had a
had them.
pimple. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, Jill, are we talking about the
We're
same
calling
thing?
cap on that.
Yeah, got to. Got to.
Yeah.
Something's up.
Yeah, this is disgusting. So yeah, the objective of this challenge is some balloons are filled with blue goo, which is good,
Mhm.
and 10 of them are filled with yellow pus. Just making sure you know the yellow is pus. And if you pop a pussy one, you're out.
Yeah.
And that's literally that's the challenge. You just pick a balloon, but you have to squeeze the balloon. It's not like you get to pop it with a pin. They're like
Yeah.
squeeze. Just watching it, I was picturing the sound. Thank God they didn't seem to have the terrible balloon sound. We just got like the
Mhm.
popping noises. I don't think I could do I truly don't think I could do this challenge. I think I would just say I accept defeat.
Yeah.
I
Somebody
don't
pick
care
one for
about
me.
being the goat.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't I'm
I
actually
really
gonna go
don't.
inside while y'all do this. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm like,
exactly.
you know what? I'm happy for whoever wins this. I will be inside having a nap or having a drink. Um,
Could
bye.
Tosh could Tosh buy your participation? Because we do see that when Wendell wins the
Hondoki.
GOAT, he brings
Yes,
out $5,000 and he's like, "Hey, what about this?" And Wendell gives it up. What if
that's a
Tosh comes
no-brainer.
out, "Jenny, here's $5,000. Get to popping that pimple pop pussy."
We're going to drop a pussy, like, for sure here.
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
No,
we
I'm
are.
not.
No.
There was a moment. There was a moment where I thought that Wendell was going to lose this challenge. He got down on his knees on all fours and he got ready to pop that pussy pimple. And I was like, "You want to pop that pus, Wendell?" And then it was blue. And I was like, "Oh, is the blue not pus? It's not pus.
Blue
It's
no, because the pus is yellow. I'm sorry. If you're
so
popping
what is
a
the blue?
pimple, blue is good. Blue is like you're
Goo.
safe.
Yeah. What is it? Goo? It's
So,
goo, right? That's like an anatomical, like scientific
yeah.
term. Goo?
I listen, I don't believe Tosh is a scientist, but that's what he called it. I
Mm.
do think that if you're popping pimples on yourself and something that comes out is blue, you should see a health professional. That is
Okay.
concerning. Um,
Mm.
yeah, so anyway, we get down to the final. So basically, we have to go through watching everyone pop these. It
Mm.
is
Yada
very,
yada
very
yada.
upsetting. You know, we
Yeah.
get Reza being like, we need the male big dick goat energy. And you know, he thinks that he's gonna be the perfect person to deliver it. Womp womp. Sorry, Reza. Not happening for you today. The
The
final
big
round,
dick goat is Wendell.
yeah, you're gonna get a big dick goat energy, but it is not going to be you. It is going to be Wendell.
Yeah.
Swinging
Yeah.
his big dick goat energy.
He popped that pussy pimple and then he started swinging that big dick goat energy. What do you want from him? He's doing it all.
He pops a pussy balloon like none other. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So
Wendell
yeah,
out
we get
here
down to
popping pussies.
like that's how it happens. All right,
That's
that's
how you get
how
down. Yeah. Sometimes you
he
gotta
was
kick it.
down all fours making goat noises with Daniel Tosh. What is going
It
on
was
here?
nasty, freak.
Wendell was
Okay.
on one.
Freaky Frog Window. We see you. We see you.
I
He's a
mean, he
fan.
just wants to be the freakiest freak
Yeah.
of
The freak of the
the
week.
goat. And he
Yeah.
said, "Listen, Bryce, if you're gonna do this every week for the goat, I want to be winning it every time."
Right.
And you know what? I respect it.
Go off.
So Wendell wins. He's gonna be the goat, and then Tosh goes, I've got a little twist here. And he offers him $5K to give away his immunity. He comes out with the check ready.
He's in an alliance
This is a
of 8.
no-brainer.
He's in an alliance of 8. He's fine. He's
Yeah.
fine. He's fine.
Literally everyone was like, take the money. Like, not because they're like, I want to take a shot at him, because they're like, why would anyone should take the money? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yeah. He's fine.
Even
Wendell is immune, essentially. Stop it. Stop. Shenanigans.
I feel like Devon should take the money, and she was in a bad situation. Like, I don't think that winning the GOAT on episode 4 is better than puts you in a better position than a guaranteed $5K in your pocket. I don't care how rich you are. Right. You know what I mean? Like, unless they are getting like a stipend per episode and you know what that is, and you're in a situation where you're in such a bad position that if you don't win, you're probably going to be gone this episode. So it's like you do the math and you're like, okay, I am going to make more money if I last another episode. But that's overthinking it in a scenario that we don't even have information about. So I just think that this early in the game, it's almost better to not win GOAT. Like, being the GOAT is in a lot of cases a hindrance. See what happened to Tayshia, you know?
Yeah. This was easiest decision Wendell's ever made. I mean, for real. $5,000.
He tried to fake us out, but
Stop it.
Yes, come on.
Imagine Wendell doing something interesting on a show.
Oh, he is gonna beat you down.
Oh yeah. At this point, I'm all in. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta just take.
Like,
you gotta take the L now. Right.
Yeah.
Listen, I got more heat coming your way. When I'm joking, but no, seriously. Wendell is he's like he knows how to win. You know what I'm saying? So he knows like the strategy, and he looked around and said, "Hey, I'm good. Why not take the $5,000?" Simple. And had he not taken it, we'd probably be judging him. Like, Wendell, what the hell?
Oh yeah, we would be rousing him even worse if we're like, Wendell, what are you doing? Yeah, like, no. Sir, that's no $5,000. That's $5K for nothing.
Just for existing. Yes. Yeah, you got it. Because first of all, we haven't even just $5,000 for picking the right balloons. It wasn't. This challenge had no skill, and they gave Wendell $5,000.
It's like winning a scratchy lottery and then being like, no, I don't actually want this.
Right.
Like,
take it.
What for what?
Yeah. No. Easy money, Wendell. Good job.
Yeah. And like I said, I really think anyone in any position in this game should have gone for that, because it's freaking random game. I just really don't know who is in such a dire position.
Probably Kristen. I mean,
but here's the thing: Kristen's on another team.
But I'm talking about,
you know what I mean? Kristen's on another team. There's a situation where she doesn't go home here. Like, if she was further in the lineup for her team, there's a situation she might not go here. Like, I don't think that anyone was in a guaranteed, like, you had to win this
going home,
or you were going home, because there is still the opportunity to do the challenge where your whole team is safe. It's not even the last opportunity to save yourself. I just think easiest money that Wendell has ever made in his entire life, even though that challenge was vile and terrible. And it wouldn't be the easiest 5K I've ever made. I'm just going to leave it there.
No.
I don't know what I'm alluding to. I truly don't even know what I'm alluding to.
Yeah, I want to know what's easier than popping a balloon that you made $5,000 doing.
Chappelle, I'm pretty sure I said this the other day. I don't even know how much money I have. I truly have
Yeah.
no clue. So
Uh-huh.
I couldn't tell you how I've made
Mm,
$5,000
okay.
at
All
any
right.
given point in my life. So I'm
But
just
it was
saying.
definitely more difficult than popping a balloon.
No.
I didn't think
I
so.
think everything I've done is easier than doing this challenge. That's how much I hate this. I'm so serious.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I won't pry anymore on the podcast.
I feel like I've said too much now because
No, check your
well,
text. I'm joking. I'll text you later.
because now I'm worried that like at a future RHAP event, someone is going to come up to me with a balloon filled with goo just to ruin my day. And like,
But why would they do that? Then they're banned from all of the RHAP events. Like that,
oh, that's a good
like I
point.
hope y'all hear me when I say if you come up to Jenny with a balloon at one of these events, count your days. It's your last one. So
Yeah,
moving on.
and yeah, my security personnel, Chappelle and
Definitely.
Phil T,
Yeah.
will have words with you and
Our
possibly
combined
hands.
height is 13 feet.
Yeah.
So just throw that out there.
Exactly. So I think you should think twice about coming to me with a balloon. Um, you can come to me with a balloon if I don't have to touch it. I don't have to hear you touch it. If you just want me to hold it, that it's helium. I don't have to touch it. Different story.
Mm.
But I'm telling you, this is the worst. When I saw this challenge,
Yeah.
nightmares. I was like, I can't do this today. So
Yeah.
I want everyone to know what I do for Hit or Quit, what I my commitment
Mhm.
to this podcast.
We appreciate
Um,
you.
thank you. Uh, anyway, so yes, we got a little package about Wendell, and he reminds us he's there for money. He's got a kid on the way. Babies are
Yeah.
expensive.
He
That
shows us his
5K is going to come in
bracelet.
handy.
Yeah, he loves a good bracelet.
Mhm.
Yeah, 5K could buy you a bunch of those.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. We got a little thing about Jason who's cooking as a strategy. I mean, of course. And then
Oldest trick in the book.
all this in the book. And you're just sitting there being like, what could have been with Chef Joe, you know?
Yeah,
We really
but look, but look. I saw that food that he was cooking. I would be going to the ends of the earth to keep this man in the game.
the
I am
beets with the
motivated.
goat cheese and the balsamic. Oh my
I am
god.
motivated by food first and foremost. I only do this podcast so that I can eat. And so when that man starts cooking, I'm like, wait, we have a professional chef, like a TV chef in here. Oh,
Mhm.
make no mistake. Final two alliance, let's go. I don't care if we
Yes.
lose. If I lose in the final two to you, I'm gonna eat good. I'm gaining 7 pounds at least on this show. There's make
Oh
no
yeah.
mistake. This is my
No,
number one
everything was
ally.
looking real good. He was
Mm-hmm.
asking how they want their steak done. I'm like, "Oh my
Like,
god, I get to choose? You're not just gonna give
Jenny,
it to me and say, 'Enjoy'?"
my pussy was wet thinking about it. My pussy pimple.
I was there was saliva, like,
Yeah.
gathering in my mouth. I don't know why. It was between the steak and the beets with the goat cheese, I was like, "Jason can
Mhm.
stay," and
He
I
can
would like
stay.
to continue to see what he's cooking.
Final two every time.
Yeah.
Final two.
So, yeah. I mean, on a game on a show like this where, it's a bunch of reality stars, and none of these people cook for each other for
Right.
themselves. You know what I
No.
mean? This is so valuable.
Right. Y'all gonna eat good. Are you
Yeah.
crazy? No, he's staying. He's staying.
Yeah. Um And then so of course we get Wendell and Day talking about we kind of, got to this already. He's does his wonderful job of saying, "Listen, it was a move that was good for my people." And Devon sees through his bullshit. And I'm so ready cuz she knows better to hold it back right now. She needs to play friendly with him right now. She needs to smile right back at him. Um
Mhm.
and I do love that this is brewing underneath, you know?
Yeah. Devon has been holding it down. Again, a big day. I'm a big Devon fan. I'm a
Oh
big
yeah.
Wendell fan as well. So
I
I
know.
don't like that they're at odds. But at the same time, I want to see Devon play the game. Devon made
Exactly.
the first big move of the season was to try to throw that challenge to get Justin out. It did not work, but she's not going to let this slow her down. She's in good spirits. She just knows she needs to win immunity for this challenge. And I just because we're saying this right now, I was so proud of her. So proud of her for being, let me get in the caller position in this challenge because I'm refused to let some shenanigans happen while I'm blindfolded. I was like, that's what I'm talking about, Devon. That's what I'm talking about. So proud of my girl.
She nails it. So yeah, we get to the team challenge. Wendell picks his team. Thank God he picks Devon because he does want to work with her. That's the thing. Is like, I don't think Wendell realizes how much he's lost her.
I think he does. I think he
do?
did this for the sole purpose of, I get her on my team, we win it, I can build an alliance with her, like try to rebuild that. But if we lose it, she can go because she's after me. You know what I'm saying? Like I in my mind, Wendell's like, oh no, he didn't take his eye off of Devon. That would be wild.
I'd like to think that he knows. It wasn't super clear to me whether, like, I'm sure he knows he did her wrong, but he, like, in his confessional he says, I still want to work with her in some capacity. And so I'm like, at what length do you feel like you actually have her still? Because he might just think like, oh man, Riz God over here. Like, I got it. We're back, baby. He might actually think that he did such a good job smoothing that over that she is on his side again, and that maybe she doesn't have any other options because she pissed off the girls too. She
doesn't have a lot of options. She doesn't. But if she ever gets in power, he doesn't want to be targeted by her, And I love Day. But they ain't gonna be able to hide her facial expression that long. There's no way he's talking to her and she's like nodding her head, like, yeah, Wendell, I believe you, and he actually walks away and believes it. Because Devon, one thing that has always given her away is that when somebody wrongs her or when she sees some shenanigans, she gonna call it out in one way or another.
She's very authentic, and it, like, just such a hard time holding back how she truly feels on these things. But I feel like she did really well in this conversation. Like, even though she did say, I thought I was your people too. Like, what do you mean? Like, my people. And then she's laughing and smiling. So now if this was the only interaction, then I'd be like, okay, maybe but you're right. Like, like she might catch him on a different time and be like, motherfucker, like, I don't trust you.
I mean, she called him what, a backstabbing mofo at the beginning. Oh, you backstabbing dirty dog.
Dog.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's not
fuck you, Wendell, you backstabbing dirty dog.
I was like, yes, Devon, drag him. Get him again. Get him for me.
I'm with you on this. Like, I love them both. So I would love them to work together, but if they have to be at odds, I would love it to be a slow burn,
Yeah.
And that's what I'm worried about is, let's have them pretend to be working with each other and making each other happy, holding off until the right time to strike. And growing resentful of each other with each passing episode.
Right.
Yes. Because if we're losing all of our, like, Spitfire energy, like Kristen's going out, like, I'm worried about Reza going forward, and he's another person that I think is like, big burst of like emotion or energy that could cause a lot of drama. If we lose him too soon, what is going to be our big source of conflict, of drama, of, like, making this actually interesting to see it play out. I do think Devon needs to do some work on building her own army here, however, but I love the smile to your face and then go to the confessional and say how much you can't stand this person.
That's why we watch the show. That's why we watch the show. Exactly.
Yeah. Can we talk about BBL Tashi?
Yeah, well, okay, so Tasha he's caked up.
BBL Tashi. BBL
Tashi. Yes. We got Wendell, a fan, and we got BBL Tashi. And they say, look, you can say what? Tasha asked all these people. He says, let's just talk about all the people who've had work done. Kristen says, I've had a few things done here and there. I think they named like 3 different things that Kristen has done. And then you get crickets from the rest of the crowd. And the camera is panning to these people who should be raising their hand and exposing themselves.
Just calling them out.
If you want to talk about a BBL, Alyssa Edwards, Justin, You be walking around. Stop it.
The
Stop
cake.
it. Stop it. Stop it. Yeah, just stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Shenanigans. I said, Alyssa Edwards, you know, goddamn, you know. But whatever.
A lady
Whatever. That's not
doesn't
my
get
business.
knifed and tell.
Yeah.
That
I was like, look,
sounds
I'm not here to
violent,
body
actually.
shame anybody. But we ain't dumb. We ain't crazy.
Kristen's probably like, what the hell? I thought we were all sharing.
I thought we were all gonna do it. They're
Yeah.
like, Kristen, girl, grow up. We don't do that.
Maybe they were just so distracted by Daniel Tosh's fake booty that he was rocking. I'm sorry, I couldn't take my eyes off of it. I'm like, what's happening here?
It's none of my business. But when the camera's panning, I'm seeing a lot of work done on different people that boom, 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 and just silence. And so I was like, okay, I see the type of game y'all playing. Play close to the vest,
I mean,
you know.
Jill wouldn't even tell us that she's ever had a pimple. So what are we expecting at this point?
She's never had a pimple. I had a pimple last week, Jill. Congratulations on being God's favorite.
What's it like?
Jenny,
how did you grow this obsession with watching? How can you imagine how good it must feel to have a pimple popped if you've never experienced said pimple?
She never once said the word pimple. She said white head. And I said, oh. Okay.
Yeah. She wants it real white and juicy.
Yeah. Again, she never said pimple.
That's true. So this might have been a spliced clip where she was talking about something else, actually.
Maybe we walked in on the wrong side of the conversation. You know?
I think we might have. That's what my defense is anytime I say something completely like left field on a podcast. It's like, oh, you just missed the context. The context was happening in my head, you know?
Right.
You just
when the out of context RHAP account tweets out, fuck you, Wendell, from Jenny Autumn, I don't want to hear anything. You know?
That is so don't do that. Because first of all, Chappelle said it first, and also I was just quoting Devon.
I was quoting Devon too. Make no mistake. Now, if you do want to quote us on Wendell popping that pussy pimple, then so be it. And then make sure you spell pussy.
I was gonna say this is the situation where this is a text medium now. If we're doing tweets, and you know, that is absolutely a situation where someone is going to misspell pussy. Because even pussy written out doesn't look like that's what it should be, you know? But if you write it a different way, you're saying something entirely different.
We're giving him too much ammo. He's already going to be on his game. They're dropping clips. Lavina's going to make a whole reel about this. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, so no one's giving up their procedures except for Jason got his gallbladder taken out. So that's surely what we were looking for here. Did we not just have a conversation on our finale coverage of Dondi where we discussed the quality of the maze in that final challenge, and then I literally referenced the goat and how low budget the challenge is, and we get a maze. But and it's literally like 4 feet tall.
But they spent money on it because it's like Operation. If you hit the walls, you get shocked. So that's what extra.
And speaking of shocked, that shocked me. I was like, how did they do that?
Right. Finally, spice these mazes up, blindfold and electrify them.
Because when I first saw it, I was like, this literally looks like you know, like yoga mat material, like foam pads, like the gym mat just held up in a maze. It did not look serious. I don't understand the logistics of how they made it so that it would shock you.
Don't care.
It doesn't really matter, but it did seem like it sincerely did shock them if they ran into the wall.
Which again, Devon, you are the caller. You're mad at Wendell. Let him hit the wall a few times. You know what I'm saying? Like get your lick back.
Like just once at least. Like you still need to win, but if you can have him bump a couple times,
if you can get a
good
lead,
measure.
Yeah, have him bump it a couple times. Like Wendell, grab the wall. Just yell it out and see if he does it. You know?
Okay, then grab the wall.
Now grab the wall. Now tackle it. You know, or something like that. You can get him back here. But this was fun.
crotch
Right.
first. Devon, we're
I
not
just
trying to neuter people here.
She's like, maybe I am. Maybe she is. But yeah, you're right. This is a tale as old as time. Blindfolded maze. We've done it a billion times on a billion different shows. But the little shock thing, okay, the goat.
Yeah,
I
it
like
was
it.
an interesting twist.
Yeah.
Because, and I get to make it like Operation, because they're going again. This is our medical procedures week. We're going into the maze to get like body parts that are supposed to like these challenges are so silly, but I love them. They're just very, very silly. So there's like a bust of like a man, and then like I don't really remember what the other
They
things
gotta
were.
put the body together because it's operation, So the
Oh, were they
head,
actually would it actually go together?
yeah, it's like a mannequin, but it's taken
Okay, well
apart.
we
So
didn't
it's like the
see. I
head,
don't.
blah blah
Well,
blah.
I didn't see it get put together, but
Yeah.
apparently that part wasn't important.
No, stop it.
But yeah, you have to make it like Operation. So if you hit the sides with your little thing, when the little thing is humans,
Mhm.
then you get shocked. But yeah, like you said, Devon does this perfectly by being like, I should be the caller. I am loud. You will hear me. I will make sure. And it works doubly well, because not only does she do a really good job of guiding her people without a few little,
Mhm.
Wendell bumps here and there.
Yeah.
She's so loud that she's drowning out Justin, who's the other caller, to the point where that team can't even hear their own
Yeah.
direction.
Kristen says that,
Genius.
all right, I should have told you from jump. I really couldn't hear that well anyway, so you would have known to be louder. But yeah,
Yeah.
you got a lot to go up against with Devon. Again, 10 out of 10. Go Devon. Great episode for her.
Yeah, they handily win this. I think Kristen was still in the maze, as CJ is coming back with the last piece that gets them the win. So we will have to wait a little bit longer to see Wendell versus Day, because they're on the
Mhm.
same team and they are safe. And this is where I feel like it starts to get really obvious, like where we're going with this, because Kristen was the person who really struggled in the maze. She could not
Mhm.
hear Justin's calls, and she took a long ass time. And I mean, I think they probably would have lost anyway, but
Yeah. But then she goes and she does the most annoying thing to me. This is my pet peeve in reality TV. I want everybody to hear this because I talk about a
yes,
lot of
listen to
reality
him.
TV, but nothing makes me madder. Nothing makes me madder than going on a competition show, doing poorly in a competition, and going and conceding defeat.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to win them
Blaming
all.
yourself.
You're not going
Mm-hmm.
to be good at everything. Matter of fact, chances are you're going to be bad at a lot of these challenges. If you force your team to lose a challenge, guess what? They're not going to throw you an extra $10,000 for your trouble because you took the L for them and they went on to win the game.
Yeah.
Just fight for your life in the game. You mess it up, blame somebody else. I'm so annoyed. I was like, Kristen, come on, man. Devon is like, Kristen, stop telling people that it's your fault. It is your fault, yes, but stop saying it. Let's speak some positive energy into his interaction right
Yeah.
now. We're not going to concede. We just will
Yeah.
not. You're going to have to drag me out of here. This is a lot of money.
And poor Jill and Devon, who are like watching their numbers dwindle before their eyes and are just trying to shake
Try for
some sense
us.
into Kristen, being like, you have to, like, if you couldn't hear, you need to use that defense. Like, why not even lie and be like, Reza would not shut up too. Like, he didn't understand that Justin's the caller and I could hear his voice for some reason. Like, just
Right.
make some shit up at this point. Like,
She's falling on her sword so nobody else has to go home. Why are you falling on your sword for Reza? He's calling you
yeah.
everything but a child of God
Oh,
in the
yeah.
confessionals into whoever will listen. And you're like, I just don't want y'all to have to choose. He's the other name. He's the
And
other
why
name.
the other thing is that, like, I'm not getting enough context for why certain people are as safe as they are, because like I said, Tech's
Okay.
name does not get brought up whatsoever. I have no idea how people feel about him. And so I don't know why he was not even considered as an option.
Mm.
And there were points where it was like, well, it's not going to be Reza. Like,
You
what?
just don't have the votes.
But it's just like, why? I don't know. I just felt like more needed to be done to build some sort of case here. It was too bad that she made up with Justin, because if that was still a thing, like, lean hard into trying to do something there. Again, I really don't think that there was much of a play here, but you cannot accept defeat. You have
No.
to try.
Let
And
these people beat you.
they do talk some sense into her. She does make an attempt, but we see her go and talk to Wendell. And Wendell does his Wendell thing where he was like, I will consider it. Because why not hear everyone out? Let's give them like the feeling that I tried, I heard you out, I didn't shut you out. He doesn't know how this game ends. Maybe he needs her vote later. I don't know.
Maybe she gets saved by a twist, or maybe or maybe it's a jury vote. There's a lot of ways that he could need her still, and
we
it
didn't know
doesn't
how
hurt him
House
to
of Villain was going to end, and that ended up
we
being
had
a
no
vote.
clue.
So.
Right, we had no clue, and so the whole time we were like, well, what happens if this happens? So Wendell just says, okay, well, if you can get the majority, I'll join the majority. That's a fair question. That's fair for everybody, because he's like, if you can flip my entire alliance to get out Reza, then I gotta go with you.
Go for
you know what
it.
I'm saying? Yeah. Then I gotta go with you. What can I do at that point? Right. Exactly. So good luck. Let me know how you get. And so in the end, she ends up getting 2 people to vote with her, I believe. 3.
So
3 people to vote with her.
Jill and Devon, right?
Jill, Devon, and Kristen. Yeah, all vote for Reza, and then the entire rest of the house, including, I guess, Paula as well.
Paula, I think Paula probably just said writing's on the wall. Or it could have been Day. It could have been Day being like, I need to vote with Wendell because I need to keep them thinking that we're like, if she doesn't have the votes, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Jenny, explain to me why they have to read the vote to the goat. To the literal
golden
goat.
I don't know.
Why?
I don't understand
that. That is pissing me off. It's literally starting to make me angry because they're whispering into the goat's mouth. And I'm like, just look at us. Just turn your head and look at us. Why are you put the camera in the goat's mouth? Why are we
I've been asking for the goat throat cam. Like we're never getting it. We're not getting it. I don't know why they look into the goat. Perhaps they were told there was a camera in there and they think that that's the vote cam. I have no idea why they do this. It is absurd and it makes me laugh, but it also is like a waste of airtime because I don't need to, like, the voting part is not interesting unless we are getting something that will enhance the drama. We're getting someone like do a little confessional. We're getting okay, the people up for elimination, their letters, like their names both start with the same letter. So we're seeing them like write like J and we don't know who it is. You know what I mean? Like give us something there. I'm sorry. Like besides it being silly, I don't need to keep seeing someone speak into a goat's mouth when I've already seen it.
I laughed at it the first time. I'm not gonna lie, and then I was like, okay, there has to be a camera in there. But now I'm just like,
the shock value.
But why are you showing it to me? I look, okay, fine. Well, let's lean into the camp. But I just don't. I feel like the bit could be better. That's all I'm saying.
And here's the thing. I love the campiness of the show. I love the silliness. I love how insane and silly Daniel Tosh is as a host. He's having fun with it. He's wearing costumes. It's so dumb. Love that. However, I feel like you have this many, like, mostly very iconic reality stars in a house living together, playing a game. Give me, if you're gonna have fluff in there, I would rather have more. Even if it's not game talk, even if it's not like strategy, conflict, I would rather just see more of these people interacting with each other than the very undramatic reading of the votes. And people speaking into the goat's mouth to make their vote, where it's like that part could really just be condensed down.
And we don't even know who voted for who. They don't tell us.
I know.
That's so frustrating.
They showed us.
What are you doing?
They showed us a few obvious people that we knew would vote in a certain way, but we don't know who voted. We don't know who the third vote is. We're assuming Jill was the second one because she and Kristen were close. I don't know if it was Paula or Devon. I don't know if someone did a hinky vote. Probably not. The only hinky voter here is Devon.
I like to assume that they would show us if that happened, but we don't know that. We do not know
Yeah.
that, and so the voting thing will drive me crazy until we move
Yes.
past it. So
there's just a few like little kinks in how the show is run that I'm like, you can tell it's like their first rodeo. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, the idea was right, but I just like some of the execution could use a little bit of work. But listen,
yeah.
I'm watching too much of this stuff these days, so
No, trust me, I totally get it at this point. Me and you are in hell. Oh,
I'm
what?
taking
Okay,
it too seriously as
right.
usual.
Look, this is what we do. What did you
Yeah.
think about the CJ and Kristen
Yeah.
fight? Question mark.
I mean, it was kind of it, it was just
It was fine.
okay.
There was nothing there.
I feel like Kristen really didn't go in as hard as she could have. It was like she didn't get messy. She basically just said, "You're not a girl's girl." Like she like did the messy thing, but like in her like new noble version where she was like,
Mhm.
I was here for the women's empowerment. Like this was for the girls and you betrayed me, so you suck. Also, you're the worst. Like it felt like not as powerful and messy as it could be,
Yeah,
which is why I really truly don't understand Reza's like response to
he's
this and
so
how
mad.
he's so pissed. I don't know if he just like has grown such an affection for CJ, or I mean we did know that he was
Mhm,
getting really sick of her because he said that he didn't like, she's annoying,
mhm,
she has emotional outbursts, and she sucked at the challenge. So he didn't care
yeah,
about the Bravo thing anymore. So maybe he was just fed up already, and this was just like, it was bitch eating crackers things, where it's
mhm,
like they just
yeah.
do anything and you think it's the worst.
You think it's the worst? Yeah. Justin called Kristen an alcoholic last episode. We did not get this type of energy from Reza. Kristen
No.
says, CJ, you're not a girl's girl. You're a guy's girl in this game and in life.
Yeah.
Bye. And
Yeah.
Reza's like, oh shit, what are we gonna do?
She just
That's what
called
I'm
her a
talking
pick
about.
me. That's
Right?
it.
He's like, he got so angry about this. I'm like, Reza, come on. But you're right.
Yeah.
He was just sick of her. He was done.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the thing is like, you will shift your morals based on who it's about.
Who you're
So
aligned
if he
with.
was riding for Justin and it was already kind of getting frustrated with Kristen after that, last episode, you're not going to hold Justin to the same standard because you're like, yeah, it was kind of a fucked up thing to say, but also you're my friend. It's like people like to think that that's not the thing, but it is like kind of the thing. So I
Oh yeah.
really believe that that's what's happening here. Yeah, and the other reason that I felt like this fight didn't give me life is because CJ didn't really fire back, which
No.
I don't think she needs to.
It's the right
Um,
move. She
yeah,
when she said,
she's
"Where's
still playing,
security?"
so
Yeah, that was my
yeah.
favorite part. When Kristen comes back and she's like, "Security!" I said, "Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is. Like, go home. Bye, pumpkin."
She also says, like, "Can you say that again after the plane has?" Because I'm guessing there was a plane flying over,
Yeah.
so she probably couldn't even perfectly hear. But like, there's nothing worse than like someone calling out that like the line you thought, like the dig that you thought was so good, like just didn't land. And it's like,
Mhm.
oh, could you have said that? Say that again. I actually didn't hear it because of the plane. It's just like, damn it.
You lost your moment.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I've
like, I
stormed out
can't
of
do that
rooms
again.
before, and well, the ADHD kicks in sometimes, right? And so
Mhm.
I've stormed out of
What's that
rooms
like?
after, yeah, I've stormed out of rooms after having conflict with somebody. Like, hey, bro, I'm gonna go, and then I leave out the room, and then my ADHD brain's like, you left your keys in there and your phone, and you
Uh,
don't actually know where your belt is. Can you continue storming, or do you need to go back? And then you have to come
yeah.
back in with your hand over your face, like, I'll just be getting my things and then
Yeah.
I'll leave. You gotta storm out again. That felt like
This
what
is
Kristen was doing. Yeah.
cut this scene, cut this scene.
Right. Forget the first storm
In
out. This is
life.
the good one. Yeah. In life. In life.
Imagine me doing this, but angrily. I'm getting my
Right.
keys.
Snatch.
Definitely not
Yeah.
sheepish.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Well,
that's big relatable.
been there, done that.
Yeah, so I mean, the only thing I will say about this interaction is that I think that this is building another little conflict that we will see play out in future episodes between Jill and Reza. Bravo
Yeah.
is dead at this point, right? Like it's dead to
Right.
rights.
No, this is a women's alliance versus a men's alliance as far as everybody's concerned.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jill and Reza are not going to be on the same page unless they have to be.
Yeah.
Because Reza is on is Team Wendell, and Jill and Devon are the two leading ladies on the other side of the house. It seems like. Now, if that is a final two, that's a final two I can get behind. Like, you know, there would
Oh,
be
hell yeah.
so fun to watch, try and like claw their way back into this game.
I
But I
can't
am not
imagine it,
optimistic.
but I
Yeah.
can't imagine it happening given the layout of the house at this point, but I
Yeah.
would love it. I think
Loved, yeah.
we're heading for like a Joe and Jason final two.
Right. With Tech
It's
as
like
the third.
the
Yeah.
grocery and like the food that you got from the grocery store. It's
Mhm.
the grocery alliance. I don't know what it is, but it's there's something there.
Yeah.
Call themselves like the meat counter or something like that. I don't
Not
know.
the meat
Uh,
counter.
I mean, it is a men's alliance,
It
so
is.
I'm just
It is. There's meat to count.
yeah. So yeah, because you have to count the meat to know how many votes you have.
Duh.
Hello, let me explain it further for you so that you get it. Anyway, so yeah, Reza is really just going off on how apparently it was despicable what Kristen said, and I'm like, okay, no.
Yeah,
And
that's fine.
Jill's protective. She's like, don't stomp on someone's grave, don't kick her while she's down. And yeah, I love seeing Devon and Jill together. Like, we gotta get this goat. And I would love to see the power shift next week. Do we think it'll happen?
No. There's a double elimination coming. At
So
best,
maybe a guy will go.
at best,
Maybe.
we might lose a guy. Right,
Yeah.
exactly. But the window's not going to allow the power to shift that much.
Yeah.
Not in 1 week. No, sorry.
Mhm. And who do we think is like if the men have to let go of one of their own? And when I say one of their own, I don't include CJ.
Maybe Grocery Joe.
Yeah, like I wanted to know like who's who's low on the ranking there. Again,
Grocery
no
Joe.
one's saying anything about Tech, so I just truly have
Yeah.
no idea how they feel about him.
Right. So it sounds like he's fine. You know, like it doesn't like this feels like the minutes are going just go ahead and just cruise through this and let somebody emerges as a new villain for the house or for the men or somebody like tries
Which
to go
I
play
hope
both
they
sides.
do.
Please do something interesting.
Please
Come on.
do
Yeah.
something.
We had some fire last
yeah.
week. Let's keep that going.
Listen, not every episode is gonna deliver because we wouldn't have those high highs if we didn't get down to a little valley after. So that's okay. I'm still having a good time covering this. I'm looking forward to seeing how some of these building conflicts will play out, and I really truly just hope there are no balloons in the next challenge because it was a tough day for me, Chappelle.
Yeah, we shall see. I think next week is the cooking show round.
Oh yes.
And so,
Although
yeah.
it looks yes, so we did see definitely some cooking images and references. But also did you see that Tasha's in a bee costume at some point, which I didn't understand what that had to do with anything?
He is, but he had a BBL in this one, and they didn't really explain that too much. So, you know, like I think Tasha can just do what he wants.
The BBL made sense in that it was like the cosmetic surgery thing.
I understand that part. I'm just saying the costume itself has nothing to do with the challenge at all. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, it definitely doesn't. But like,
did we need it, Jenny? Did it enhance the competition at all?
I did. I personally did. I needed something positive. There were balloons. You know, I was still cursed by the balloons. There was a bad maze. I needed BBL, Toshi, BBL Tushy, even.
BBL Tushy, yeah.
And that is going to be in my head, continue to be in my head for days to come. But yeah, that's basically it for this episode, you know, and we will be back there. There's more to come. We'll be back next week for episode 5. But in the meantime, Chappelle, I know we get to hang out all the time, which is great. But what else do you have going on?
We're talking about the MILFs, you know, me and you, MILF Manor with Puya and Rob occasionally, or
Yeah.
whatever iteration we have, you know, more MILF Manor coverage coming your way on RHAP. Obviously, please subscribe to the Rob has a website.com/subscribe for hitter quick content, because this has been fun talking to you about these shows.
Yeah.
And you can catch me on recapkickback.com talking about all the shows that I am talking about, including Summer House Martha's Vineyard, Abbott Elementary, as we wrap up both of those seasons. And then this week we talked about the Black Twitter Hulu documentary or docu-series. I think it's called Black Twitter, A People's History. It was very good. We had a panel on Nicole, Jay West, Tyrone. It was fun. So check that out, and follow me on social media at Recap Kickback.
Chappelle, I appreciate you so much. I'm so glad we just had Dondi finish our Dondi coverage over here on Here to Quit, the two of us and Rob. What a great time that was. And I'm just so grateful that we can keep the good times coming. MILF Manor, the GOAT. And I'm there might be something else hitting the Hit or Quit feed in the coming days. A little sneaky surprise. I don't know. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. Catch it. Don't miss it. And until then, we will catch you next week for our coverage of episode 4 of The GOAT. Have a good one, everyone. See you later.
Peace.
Bye.